buggy's awesome. We're gonna be installing a set of Jake's tie rods for this big old 2020 XMR. And let me show you guys what they got. He's already got the Jake's arms, and these are the stock tie rods. We're gonna upgrade these. It's a known problem on the Defenders, just that they're weak. He hasn't had any problems yet, but we're gonna go ahead and upgrade. And he's got them right over here. These things are beefy. So we'll take you guys along and show you the process of installing these pretty step by step.
So what we'll end up doing is wrapping this with a wet rag to use as a heat sink. And we'll heat right here with the torch. Because Can-Am loves to put
the Loctite.
Loctite.
Oh yeah, try to heat it up
on everything. And a little bit of heat will take.
Yeah, loosen it up. Oh shoot! Big boy toys, guys. Woo. Yay. It shouldn't really take too much heat, should it?
No. Not much heat at all.
Alright, pull your cotter pin out your bottom steering bracket, and we're going to take off this nut and bolt and get this tie rod loose.
It's a 15 millimeter.
Yeah, probably a 15, 215s. Should be able to just pop it out. Yep. That's it. Very quick, easy. It's out. Let's go put that up against the Jake, just to show them the difference between the Moorhead tie rod and the factory tie rod, to understand the difference and the sizing of what they're getting. Wow. Very significant. The ends are huge. The bar is huge. It's a big upgrade. Alright, Steven's trying to save this boot. Pull this inner tie rod off. And that way we can reuse the boot and try to cover up the steering rack. Keep it clean. Alright. Just hand that to you so I can still hold the camera. You slide that boot off. You're going to take apart the Jake's one too then, right?
Yep.
Wagga wagga. It's a shame you're going to cover that up.
I know.
These gloves are so nice. Very nice. While he's doing that, I'm only going to show you guys one side of doing this, so it's not too repetitive, but we'll do the alignment too at the end once we get both sides done, after we go through the process of this one side that we're doing now.
We can show them the difference in.
It looks just like a step up, one size bigger.
Yep. But it doesn't neck down.
Mm-hmm.
Or neck down right there.
Oh yeah, where it's smaller. I wonder where the I'd like to hear from the other Defender guys where they commonly break the tie rods. I wonder what part of the tie rod normally breaks if it's not the rack. All right, guys. Now we got the tie rod. Steven's actually got a little trick right here on this bolt that we'll show you guys in a minute. But before you can go too far, you got to install the clevis into the rack. And he's putting some Loctite on the threads just a little bit. I definitely want to do these on our Defender. And this is a custom bolt he got. It's really just a 3/8 bolt head with a nut welded on at the end. That way he can screw that in since we don't have a 14mm Allen. So if that's something you want to do, you get a 3/8 bolt. And he's basically using the bolt to thread in the other bolt since we don't have that Allen key. It works good. Make sure too, whenever you install that, obviously the clevis has to be up and down since you're going to get range of motion up and down with the suspension as it changes and compresses. All right guys, real quick, I just want to show you whenever you install this clevis and then you're installing the Heim joint in there, let me see if I can get closer. You're only going to have so much movement from the Heim before it hits the clevis. And whenever you're tightening it onto the rack, you'll notice that limited range of movement. You might have to clock this Heim at the right angle so that whenever you go to put it in your bracket or the spindle on the stock, that it actually reaches that location. So you may not want to put it totally straight. Just something, leave it a little bit to where you can still move it before you get everything set. So that way when you come down here to the end of it, that you know that it lines up and it's not binding or anything like that. All right guys, we put the bolt back into the tie rod and then put the boot over the bolt and then slid it back. That way he can try to protect this piece. Just want to show you guys that before we go further into it. Drop the nut. I can't find it. All right, you got the Heim back in the clevis. What size was that?
This is a 8mm.
All right, it's an 8mm Allen
with a 19mm
and a 19mm nut. I'm gonna tighten this Heim up in this clevis right here for the inside. All right, so we pulled the nut back just a little bit so that we could apply some Loctite to the bolt right there. And then now we're gonna resume where we were, tighten this thing back up, and then we can put the boot back over it and keep stuff out of here. All right, that step's done. Let's put the boot back over it now, carefully.
Point on here,
Yeah,
that you use for
the
your ball joints.
Mm-hmm.
We're just gonna pump a little bit more in here because they don't come with very much from the factory.
All right, we put our steer and stop in. All right, now we're putting the inner boot back onto the rack. Put some grease on the inside of the rack itself.
Just throw you a zip tie around here.
Mm-hmm. On the inside and outside.
A zip tie around there, and you guys should be good.
All right, now we're just trying to get the length right since we centered the steering wheel before we did this and the tires haven't moved. Once he adjusts this inner part of the tie rod out and gets the bolt lined up. It should be pretty close too.
Should be about right there.
How much more?
No, right there.
Okay, that's good. All right, we're gonna put the bolt back in. And these 215s we're gonna tighten back up. And then we'll do the driver's side, and then we'll set our final alignment, and I'll show you guys once we get the driver's side done, but installation is gonna be the same on both sides, so you can just follow this. That's it, guys. Boots on, tie rods on. Obviously haven't aligned it yet, but do that here in just a minute. We got it factory pretty close. We didn't move the tires. I think that took us just over an hour, and we actually pulled it off a time or two, locked tight, cleaning it up, stuff like that. Very big, very bulky, definitely quality. Sweet. Camera loves you. Yeah. All right, guys, I just want to show you real quick what we did. Put a 4-foot level on the outside of the tire, clamp it down here, and clamp it down on the front. All right, as you can see here, same level, centered. What we basically did was took this is how you do it. I'm gonna show you over here. We wrote it down. Our starting inside toe was 72 3/4 inches. Our the rear toe was 74 3/4. So we basically split the difference. That's a 2-inch difference. We towed out the passenger a 1/2 inch out, and we towed out the driver a 1/2 inch out. And now we're at 73 3/4 in the front and right at 74 in the back. And then once you account for people in the machine and then you giving it throttle, it's going to be right about dead square with any kind of throttle input. It will move as your suspension flexes and weight transfers to the back. So that's how we have it set up. If you want to imitate this or be able to do this by yourself, this is a really good, easy way to do it at home and know that it's right. So I hope this helps you guys. That's the install video, and I'm sure we'll do more good Defender stuff and tips and tricks along the way. Thanks, guys.